We're back. Welcome back. We got Fem Football here. We got Court and Whit ready to go. Talk about
Roster.
USWNT roster.
Hello.
All right, so let's talk about this Olympic roster. We mentioned last time it's very hard to pick 18 people, especially for the U.S. They've had a deep bench. There's also, it'd be interesting to see how Emma Hayes rethought some things.
Yeah.
Right? And there have been some controversial
Picks.
People being included or excluded.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people that are upset with Mal Swanson over Alex Morgan.
Oh, I have not seen that.
Yeah, civilian, just people on the comments are like, have you watched soccer at all?
Yeah, that's wild. Okay, I have not seen that. That's a hot take.
Yeah.
You had said no to Alex Morgan being on your roster.
Mm-hmm.
I assumed they'd keep her just because she adds a little something different tactically.
Yeah.
Super surprised. I'm not shocked she's not on it. A little surprised just because sometimes things come down to PKs, and I think she would be a good person. But also, again, truly, and this was going to be my biggest gripe with what I'm looking at on the roster, is that to me, there doesn't seem to be tactically flexibility, in that they're going to try to just play with possession, and so they don't really give themselves to play direct, from what I'm seeing, without Alex Morgan or even Lynn Williams, and nobody to deliver that. So I guess not shocked about Alex Morgan, a little surprised.
Yeah. So I'm not shocked about Alex Morgan either, but because I did, on mine, I put her not on there, but I assumed that she would be on there, just also like a veteran, and she's kind of like, a staple within the team, so I just thought that
she's also a captain.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be like one of the reasons why she was just part of the roster, but apparently Emma Hayes thought differently.
Yeah. I think the other controversial one was Corbin Albert, which I guess I'm not surprised, but I was surprised I'm not surprised she's included, right? As far as she's talented. What I was surprised about is when I watched Sam Ewis's clip talking about it, because I really did think when Lindsay Horan came out and said they handled it, I thought they handled it, right?
Yes.
But now I would have to assume Sam Ewis knows way more behind the scenes than you or I ever would, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And so for her saying it's not really been handled, it really changes my whole opinion about all of this. I'm a little disappointed.
Yes, yeah, that one's hard, and the fact that it's kind of just been it seems to be sheltering her when it just seems to be sheltering her, is it, from people, instead of actually coming out and giving what, guidelines they're expecting from her, or if she's taking diversity and inclusion training, or what other support they're providing to prevent this from occurring again.
Right. And I had to wonder, in the past, the other players have just kind of on their own blacklisted some of these types of players. And it doesn't seem like that's going to quite happen.
Yeah.
And
I don't know that necessarily. I don't want anybody to be bullied just because she did unkind things. I guess I don't want her to be bullied either. So I don't think that she needs to be blacklisted necessarily, but I think that there needs to be a clear expectation of guidelines that are laid out and that we can see, so that we're not just questioning it and then going, it doesn't seem like they're doing anything, so let us just keep making judgments of her.
Right. And so this is where I think Emma Hayes is in some new territory, because she's not had to she's not just had to really deal with these things as much, right? Or at least be on the forefront of these new decisions, because I don't think people, perhaps outside, always acknowledge or recognize how much the U.S. women really have to set the standard for things, right? Any type of initiative. And they aren't usually very comfortable conversations, right? So I think this will be something Emma Hayes seems to think I don't know what she thinks. It seems that it's not going to address head on To my knowledge, she hasn't, and we'll just continue on, and it's just not going to fly.
No, I think that is something that needs to be addressed. And I mean, at the end of her Chelsea season, she said she doesn't believe that players should date or players and coaches. So she's already said. I mean, I guess she has a concept of appropriateness, but she hasn't thought about the whole grasp of what can occur within this team and how it has to present itself to everybody. Because what the NWSL presents, what the US women's team presents is what the NWSL kind of follows. Like you said, they set the standard. They set the standard for other countries and stuff, but they also set for the NWSL. So if we just kind of ignore it, then that's how the NWSL is going to go. They're just going to ignore it.
Right. So that'll be interesting to see how she starts navigating those. I think eventually she'll have to address these. The one thing I did like about Flacco is that he didn't shy away from these. He was very open and seemed very supportive of the players. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm a little disappointed so far. I got a little disappointed once I saw her push the Arsenal coach at the end of the season in the NWSL or in the WSL.
Yeah,
that's hard to say.
Yeah,
in the WSL. When I watched, I forget whatever the match was. Maybe it was an FA Cup. I don't remember. When she shoved, I thought, I don't know that I like this.
I don't know what she was doing, but hopefully she can get into, I guess, a routine here that's more stable, and then also make sure that the team is holding the expectations that we've set through as the team has existed. Like, it's grown each year, or it's grown a little bit each time, so that it becomes a little bit better for setting the standards. But
right, to set the progression, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But,
so that's that. Those are the two big ones. I think there's a bit more, in my opinion, and let's just start from goalkeepers. Okay, so Nair, we're not surprised about that.
No.
Murphy over Campbell, though, really, it blows my mind. It blows my mind because I get the argument in that, well, Murphy's had more time with the national team overall over Campbell. But then when you look at some of the other people who've been brought in, they have not. And so it seems like Emma Hayes is spotty on when she picks you've had a good run with your club or when you don't. Because Jane Campbell, without a doubt, honestly, has had the past season and a half better than even Nair with her club. And so, but there's other people that it seems that Emma Hayes has brought in who have done well with their club but have not really been with the national team. So it's like real counter to I can't wrap my head around it. So that one I'm disappointed and I can't understand. I like Casey Murphy actually. A couple years ago I wanted her I guess the 2019 World Cup, I actually, after that, because I had some doubts on Nair after that, just how she commands 18, I thought, maybe Murphy would be a better replacement. I'm totally behind Nair now, but I like Casey Murphy. I just, at the moment, Jane Campbell is in form.
She is, absolutely. She's rocking it down in Houston, so I guess, at least she's an alternative, but she should have been, I think, on the active 18.
Right. Yeah, that's that one I can't quite get. As far as defenders, I think, hear me out, I think Emma Hayes listened to the podcast, heard who I wanted, and said, I think Courtney's onto something. Bing, ding, ding. And she picked who I thought she would pick.
Yeah.
Or I wanted.
I realized last time with Abby Dowkemper. Whatever, you got it. I can't speak right now. So when I said defensive midfielder, I was thinking of Julie Ertz.
I had a feeling that you were thinking of somebody different. I was like, I just think you're picturing somebody else.
Yeah, and so I was thinking about it later, and I go, yeah, I was definitely thinking about Julie Ertz, 100%. And that statement, I was like, okay, whatevs.
That makes more sense why you thought she could play defensive midfielder. And I looked it up later. I was like, has she ever in her life played in the midfield? And I think maybe one time in some youth group she did. I don't know. I stopped looking.
She could probably do anything. She's amazing, but she didn't get picked.
This makes way more sense. Okay. I still would have been mad if Dahlkemper was an alternative or on there, just because again she provides a good long ball that none of the others do, and she gives you an option for direct play. This I have concerns about the tactical flexibility. I'm not going to let up on that because it doesn't matter if you have a style of play. You still have to give yourself the option of something different because if not, you're really easy to defend against. But all right, so defenders, I will say I am very, 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 very happy Casey Kruger is in the active 18. I was going to scream if she was put as an alternate.
Yeah,
I very happy she's in it and that she's finally getting her recognition. I just hope she gets to start.
me too. I do as well. I guess Emily Sana's the only person that can do recover for Naomi or Tierna if they need a break. In my head,
Kroger can play as a center back. She
okay,
has. It's just usually when you go. She's usually when you have three center backs, typically, but she can. I think I've seen Emily Fox do it. I wouldn't say it's her best suited role, but I know Kruger can do it.
okay. I like everybody on there. Obviously, Jenna Neiswanger's still newer to the national team, but she still seems to rock out in Gotham. So
I think she's. I think she's. What's the word I want to say? Walked into the national team and comfortably integrated herself. So I don't see problems with her on that.
yeah, I think it's good. Obviously, I don't. Emily Sana's not my favorite, but
I know this is always my struggle. It's not. It's just that she can play more than one role.
Yeah,
But she's somebody that's why. She's not the best defensive midfielder. She's not the best center back or fullback by any means. But the fact that she can play those multiple roles and do it moderately okay is beneficial, especially when you only have 18 people.
I see why she's on the roster. I don't know. I guess wish there was somebody else.
There are other people who could be on there, but 18's hard.
It
18's
is
hard.
Yeah.
All right, so midfielders. We've already talked about Corbin Albert. I don't think we need. I don't want to spend an hour talking about her. I just don't want to give anybody that much free time. Okay, so Sam Coffey. I think we both agreed she should be on there. I think this whatever injury she has is mild. I think she'll be fine. It sounds like they think she'll be fine as well.
Mm-hmm.
I love how we're pretending to be the medical team. She'll be fine. I know.
I have access to that screw HIPAA. I have access to all that information. She's good.
It sounds like they think she'll be fine. No surprise with Lindsay Rand or Rose Lavelle. If that is a surprise. Oh my God. You talking about weird comments. I saw somebody that wanted, I forget who, somebody over Haran. And I thought, well, that's wild. I think maybe they wanted Albert over Haran or something, or I don't remember who, but I thought I was like, you are wild.
I saw something about Haran as well where they said that she shouldn't. I was like, have you ever watched her play?
Right. I thought it was somebody out of touch. I thought, whoa.
Yeah. She just controls the ball so well, and she just sees the field. And it's not just she just sees one player or one very small section. She sees the field, and she can command it. And I did see something.
Really good creativity, Yeah, I thought it was wild. I couldn't wrap my head around it. I will say I guess it's not, for me it's a surprise, is that Macario's on there. Mm-hmm. I know this is the one where I don't understand how Macario's on there, but Jane Campbell isn't. Well, Macario, maybe she did well at the end of Chelsea's season because that's when she came back from her long injury. I, again, don't feel that she did well in her outings with the national team. To me, she didn't seem like she clicked well with them. And this is where I'm disappointed that she got called up over some other people. So I guess this is where Emma Hayes, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know.
Just say like favoritism.
I want to say, yeah, or that she likes a person's skills rather than going for the team
ability.
Yeah.
Or teamwork or whatever.
Yeah, and I think that could be a downfall. Only because you have to work as a team. It doesn't matter. I mean, it just doesn't matter. You have to work as a team, right? Mm-hmm. You have some of the most talented people. It's talking about like the Spanish team, right? Alex Putellas she sat on the bench most of the World Cup, and she's like a 2-time Balloon d'Or winner. So sometimes you just need to think more about how the team as a cohesive unit works. But I don't know, maybe Emma Hayes has thought about that. Maybe she thinks it'll gel in time before that. I don't know. I mean, how do you feel? Or you seem to think that she would get caught up.
I did, because Emma Hayes was her coach at Chelsea, and that's
Okay.
only. I think that she has the ability. I do think that she is a talented soccer player, so I'm not opposed to that. But it was 100%. Emma already has a relationship with her and knows her ability, and that was majority of it. I guess I just hope that she'll do it. I guess also part of the one issue with this is she's not currently with a team, so she's not getting that current need to be part of a team. So,
Oh yeah, because it's Chelsea's off season.
yeah. So I don't know that it'll necessarily be effective. I guess we'll find out during the Olympics how this fits, but maybe she's just there to back up somebody.
Well, I mean, but the likelihood of Rose Lavelle getting injured is high, or having her minutes needing to be managed is high. It's been pretty consistent for the last few years that she can't play full 90 minutes every single match.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's pretty likely that Macario will play.
Mm-hmm. I think that it was Johannes that people kept saying needed to be in over Haran.
Yes, that's it. And that's what blew my mind. It wasn't just, I thought, okay, wait, whoa. You don't understand that Haran's actually good. Johannes has a potential to be really good. She's not there yet, though. And she definitely doesn't have the experience of Haran, let alone the quality at the moment. Mm-hmm. That's right. It was Johannes.
Yeah, because I was thinking, and I was like, who else was it? But yeah, which, I wanted Johannes, so it's not as if I'm against her, but it was not to replace Haran. It was in addition to Haran. So maybe there can be some skill sharing, and, they play off of each other or something to that extent, not them one over top of the other,
I'm not surprised she's not there just because 18 is really hard. Like we talked about this. Try to make your 18. It's really hard. And you need to think about who can play multiple positions. And this person just doesn't have experience. And to be honest, just talent-wise, isn't there yet.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they won't be really good. It's just not there yet. Yeah. Johannes over Haran. All right, whatever. This is why I can't always read comments. I get so annoyed. Actually, the worst comment sections I've ever seen have been on Instagram. Doesn't matter the type of content is Instagram. I guess because I don't really do much of the others. YouTube people are pretty chill. Instagram people are hateful.
Yes.
Jeez.
Yes, that's where I saw these comments was on Instagram, because I was just, someone, I don't even know that it was like the U.S. women's national team post. It was necessarily, I think it was other accounts or whatever that were making these posts and reading these. How frequently do you watch women's soccer to proudly say these things? And not that obviously I know everything, but I'm not going to boldly put these things out on the internet like these people, and wow, you feel comfortable saying this stuff, okay. And
well, I think many people don't realize the nonsense that they speak.
Maybe they think that same way about us.
Whatever. I don't pretend to know everything, but I watch a lot of soccer, men's and women's. Okay. Let's talk about forwards. So I guess, you brought up Jaden Shaw as like more of a forward. I still think of her as an attacking midfielder because that's where she is with San Diego. And I feel like that's where I've seen her in some other matches earlier in the year with the national team. But it seems like she will be. I don't think they'll use her as a winger. I think they'll use her as a central striker, right? Mm-hmm. Is that what you're getting from this? That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, so the last couple of matches, though, through San Diego, she was within, I believe, a 9. So, or maybe...
Is that because Morgan's been out?
It could be, yeah. Mm-hmm. But she was up front, so I don't know if it was just a change, obviously, to replace Morgan or whatever, but she was listed up front, so...
Yeah, seems like that's where Emma Hayes sees her. I actually really liked her in the a 10 role, or I liked her right behind the central striker.
But you know what? Maybe they put her in as a forward, but she's one that can be utilized in the midfield if necessary.
True. That may be that, right? She gets used as both.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't be opposed to that. I think outside of that weird comment that you saw, nobody should have been surprised that Mal Swanson was going to be on here.
No.
That's wild to me that somebody thought that she wouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sophia Smith, also, outside of your hot take of not bringing Trinity Rodman, I don't think it's a surprise that she's on here.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I think she's playing better, and that to me, she seems to be getting better about not holding on to the ball as long and releasing it a bit sooner. I've noticed that in a few matches I've seen this year, as opposed to last year at the World Cup, where she'd hold on to it, dribble all the way down to the touchline, and then have nowhere to go because she had missed off the opportunities to pass, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Do you feel like she's gotten better in that or no?
I think so. I think that also when she was with Washington, I think that she had to be more control the ball more, and I think that things have kind of evened out now within Washington, so she's learning more ability, like learning to pass it. So
right, didn't take everything on her shoulders and try to do it all.
yeah, so having some of that has, I guess, bled over to the national team, which is beneficial. And that was just let's be a little bit controversial. I know that she's going to make it, and this is not my nonsense. Isn't going to be anything that is actually listened to. So I knew she was going to come.
I don't know. So it seems like Emma Hayes listened to me on the Defenders. So
Yeah, I said my nonsense, not yours. My nonsense was
okay.
this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So the other one, Crystal Dunn, which I think we both had as an alternate.
Mm-hmm. No, I had her on. I assumed that she'd be picked as a defensive player, but in mine that I wanted, I had put her as a forward. So,
okay.
But I think that she's one that can be utilized throughout the whole field. So putting her anywhere, I think, will be beneficial to the team. But I kind of do like seeing her as a forward.
I prefer seeing her on the attack more so on the defense. At this point, I just don't think she meshes well there. I don't think on that left side, I feel that Emily Fox and Nightswonger have worked out a better system with Sophia Smith. I know Emily Fox and Sophia Smith have, and I don't feel like Crystal Dunn and Sophia Smith have that harmony yet. And I just prefer Crystal Dunn up front.
Mm-hmm.
I think at this point there's enough depth in the fullbacks that she doesn't need to be back there.
No.
But if somebody gets injured, she can do that. Or play like a wing back if they have to switch. I don't know that Emma Hayes is going to switch her formation, but if she did by chance.
Yeah.
So outside of Alex Morgan, anybody else that you're super, super surprised didn't make this 18? Well, Jane Campbell.
No. I mean, I really wanted Lynn Williams, and I feel like obviously she's an alternate, but I really wanted her to be on the roster just because she is exciting to watch and she's very knowledgeable. But I guess maybe that's the only one, is her.
Yeah, for me, again, it's a bummer. I think she adds something they don't have. She adds a ton of pace up front, and she has the ability to go direct, which the others don't give you that. Mm-hmm. So I'm disappointed in that. And I really like Lynn Williams. What I like about Lynn Williams is that she isn't the pay for play person. She's had to work outside of that system, and she's gotten this far, and I really like that. But anyway, as a player, I really want her because she has something different tactically. Mm-hmm. I'm bummed for Jane Campbell. I just cannot. I don't think I'll get over that. Emma Hayes. Okay. So then this goes back to Hal Hirschfeld and Batoon. Okay. So they're both I think Washington Spirit players,
Correct.
And this is where they're playing well with their club, and she's brought them in as alternates. So this is where I can't grasp the Casey Murphy, Jane Campbell kind of business so much. Mm-hmm. What's funny is after the last time we recorded, I have purposely watched Spirit matches so that I could, for Hirschfeld. Mm-hmm. So just try to familiarize myself with her. But in the first one, I noticed, Hirschfeld kind of got overshadowed by Batoon because that's what I kept noticing. And so I'm not super surprised that she's an alternate. I see why she's not in the 18 just because she hasn't played with them.
Mm-hmm.
But when I did watch that one match, she had a really good match. The next one, not so much, but.
Yeah, is that how you pronounce it? Say it again.
Batoon?
Batoon, okay.
Okay, that is how the announcers said it, and I know that the announcers get names wrong.
Yeah. Well, I obviously, you know that I'm very good at pronouncing things incorrectly. So,
Yeah.
I
You were saying Dahlkemper, and you meant Ertz.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just...
what an easy way to mix that up.
No, I mean, like Tottenham, obviously. But, so I was going Bethune, and I was like, that really doesn't sound right, but that's what I'm going with in my head because I had never heard it said. And so it was just one of those. I've read it, but I don't know how it's pronounced. So I'm glad
Batoon is how they said it.
Okay. So, which obviously could still be wrong, but to know how to maybe say it and not sound stupid is what my goal is here, because I don't want to say it wrong. But she is actually an exciting player to watch with Washington. I do like watching her. I like watching these new people just kind of stand out and not be, I guess excluded from.
Yeah. This is one thing I think about having Emma Hayes in, but also having, so it's not that Vlad goes out, but having the person who is over the women's U.S. soccer out, Kate Margraf, I think having her out is helpful because it allows, there just seems to be more flexibility in who you can bring in. So it is nice to see some new people come in and challenge for spots.
Mm-hmm.
I did see that Alyssa Thompson got called into camp, and so I think that's well deserved for her. I think she didn't make the roster, but I don't think it's such a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
I still think she could contribute. Somebody I'd like to see, I've been thinking about, if we're going to be so open-minded to Hirschfeld and Batoon, I'd like to see Tess Bodie from Bay FC come. She's a little winger, really good. I'd like to see her get an opportunity. Let me actually, is she American? Let me see. How would I say that? I feel like I looked this up. Sometimes you see people, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe not you, I realize they're not actually American. It's like, oh, that's why they're so good. They play for the Canadian national team I'm making this up.
Yeah.
No,
okay,
she's American.
Okay. No, because I've done that a couple of times, and it's like, like you pay for Canada. Like, why don't we have Quinn on ours? Oh, because she's Canadian, or they're Canadian. Why don't we have National Prince? Like, Canadian. And it's just one of those.
Or like Sophie Schmidt, where Houston Dash. She's really good. She's center back, but she's Canadian. Things like that, yes.
Yeah. Although she retired from the national team.
Yeah. So I'd like to see Tess Bodie. That's somebody I was recently watching because I've been watching a lot of Utah and BFC. And I thought, I'd like to see her get an opportunity with the national team. I think she would be good.
Okay, yeah. Maybe Emma will listen to this suggestion as well. And next camp,
Emma, if you're listening, I want you to be able to play more than just possession. I want you to have the option of direct. So you need to have somebody either in the back line or defensive midfielder who can send a long ball, and you need somebody who can receive it and then in space. So Lynn Williams, and then you need to have Abby Dahlkemper or somebody else in the back who can send it up front. Great. Thanks.
I think she'll listen to that.
I think I can be Lynn Williams' agent.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, seriously, or you just...
No,
kidding.
Okay. I'm kidding.
I was like, do you have some knowledge? I mean, I know that you're very smart, so I'm not dismissing this, but...
I have no knowledge of I don't even know what an agent does.
Okay, so I was just wondering, did you really put some research into this?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't. I was being facetious. I don't even know what an agent does.
Okay. Well, it's like maybe Courtney has some hidden talents that I'm not certain of. She is very smart.
No.
Okay.
Anybody else that you want to see, or any final thoughts on the Olympic roster?
No, not on the Olympic roster. I think it's good. I guess we'll find out in 20-ish days or so if it's good or not.
So, what do you think is a make or break it for Emma Hayes? Does she have to get gold, or is getting a bronze good enough?
Oh, I
Because they got bronze the last Olympics, right?
yeah. Would they only give her so? They wouldn't just give her just this Olympics to show
No,
herself.
they would definitely give her more
Okay.
time. But I think with some controversial picks, like including Albert, not including Morgan,
I'm not gonna
I
lie. I don't
think
really think that they're gonna medal.
I
I
don't think
want.
they are actually either. I have
I
my concerns about this.
I would love for them to medal because it's the U.S. and I want them to win. And I mean, I want the U.S. to dominate in every sport within the Olympics, but I don't feel like they're going to medal. And I feel like it's going to be a European team that's going to dominate because they have advanced to, the U.S. used to dominate in everything because everybody was so far behind, but European leagues have advanced so much, or teams, so I think it's going to be a European team.
I think, yeah. The question comes: can Spain Spain went through so much after the World Cup. Will they be able to continue that without the issues they had? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, or those still present. Right? Seems like it's Spain's to lose, but I don't think you can discount Japan or Australia.
Yeah,
Canada went far, I think, the last Olympics. I don't imagine they will do as well this time. Not because of the talent, just because of how much that federation's gone under. Because
yes.
even the men's, the Canadian Soccer Football Federation just had issues. Even on the men's side, it's just got so many issues.
Yeah, I forgot about Japan. Yeah, and I'll say Australia. In my head, I just kind of dismiss them since Kerr's not there, but they do have a wealth of talent, so that was kind of rude to just dismiss them. But yeah, I could see.
I think had I not seen it at the World Cup, I would have agreed. But they were able to dig in and do what they needed to do, and so it's there.
It is, yeah. I mean, also,
Now, if like Mackenzie Arnold gets injured, then I have some.
yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I can't even
Oh,
wait to
but you
see
know what?
England, though.
England's not in it,
Oh, okay. I don't
so
know.
they failed to qualify. But one on Australia, Gory is injured, so that stinks. She's kind of their powerhouse in the midfield. But England, so the way England works for the Olympics is they have to qualify as Great Britain, and they haven't qualified. When they lost some match, I forget which, they lost some like match that I think everybody expected them to win, and then that ruled them out.
Well, then
Let me look up the groups again.
maybe the U.S. can come away with something. Maybe this team that Emma Hayes has put together will somehow mesh and bring home the gold. I don't think that they'll actually win, but it would. I'm gonna say bronze is maybe what, or silver is what the Federation is hoping from Emma Hayes with this team.
Yeah, I would expect it at least bronze just because that's what they got last time, I'm pretty sure. No need to fact check here. Just winging it. I'll fact check that in a minute. Okay, so here are the groups again: France, Colombia, Canada, New Zealand. Ooh, Colombia's looking good. Okay. Then USA. I don't know who the other African team is. Germany, Australia. It's a team from Africa. It just says African team. I think it has been cited. I have to look that up. Then it's Spain. Ooh, wow, what a tough group to be in. Spain, Japan, African team, Brazil.
Ooh,
Right?
truthfully, I'm so good at forgetting teams because even Germany, I'm like Pop, and I don't remember the lady's name that was on the left back, but it's not going to come to me. But she was amazing as well, and man, U.S. is going to
So
have some
looks
tough
like in
competition.
Group B, which is has the U.S. is in, the team will be the African team is either going to be Zambia or Morocco. So my guess is that it will be Zambia, and Zambia is they were good,
Mm-hmm.
and USA has to play Australia, Germany.
Yeah, so you know what I was just thinking about was I really can't speak about for 2019, but last year during the World Cup, they had just come from, not just come from, but it was still some of the aftermath of the Yates report.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that they're still kind of reeling from that, and some of the disturbance within the NWSL. So maybe having a clear mind, besides any controversy that pops up within the next couple of days, maybe they'll go in at least level-headed and not distracted.
Maybe. Okay, I fact-checked.
Yeah.
USA did get bronze. Sweden got silver, Canada gold. So we're definitely going to have a different top three. Sweden's not even in it.
Mm-hmm.
But Australia got fourth place last time.
Yeah. I mean, Emma Hayes did comment about having to beat Spain, so...
That's assuming we get out of the
Group stage,
I think we will, just because Germany has such a poor showing. Well, I shouldn't say this, because Germany didn't get out of the group stage in the World Cup. But then, again, we didn't have a great World Cup, so... And if we have... My guess is that it'll be Zambia. And then I guess the other African team will probably be... I don't know. Sorry, everything I'm looking up wants to bring up the roster. Oh, I know why. Because I put in U.S. first. I need to learn how to search.
I can't speak and you can't search.
Sure can't. All right, so it is U.S., Brazil, Colombia, Canada, Spain, Germany, Nigeria, and Zambia. Okay, I was wondering if it would be Nigeria or South Africa. All right, so it's Nigeria and Zambia. Zambia, Group B, Group C, Nigeria, which gave a really hard time to people in the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I agree. I'm not so sure they'll medal. I think the world's catching up, which is a good thing. So Emma Hayes has her work cut out for her.
She does. Good luck to her. Good luck to the team, but
yeah,
I don't. When they went so many years ago, you had an expectation, like you knew they were winning gold. So, but now it's not that. I don't have that same feeling of like certainty of yes, they are winning gold. These other teams just aren't even at the same level. I don't have that same feeling. So,
yeah, I'm kind of excited by that though. Makes it more interesting.
Absolutely,
also, more nerve-wracking when you're watching. But
yeah, this is a thought that just popped in my head. So Temwa, I'm assuming that I'm pronouncing it correct. Obviously, I couldn't.
Way.
Temwe Chawinga.
Oh, never mind.
Okay, so Chawinga, Kansas City.
Uh-huh.
So there was a Chawinga, or is a Chawinga on, I guess, PSG. And so I saw it, and I was like, she somehow get transferred, and I just didn't know it. She has a sister that plays on that team, and she's also fabulous. But I saw the last name, was like, man, I've really missed a lot of information that she got transferred, and I'm not even aware of it. And then I finally looked at the roster, and I was like, oh, it's her sister. And it makes sense why they're both fabulous, because they're related. But
yeah, they probably played against each other.
Yeah. But it really messed with me, because I thought, man, I've missed a lot of information here. I didn't know that was even up there.
You probably focused on the big things this week. So switching to the NWSL, I think we've made our thoughts clear on the USWNT Olympic roster. So this week, since we last recorded, we've had two big sackings in the NWSL. And I would say, to me, they're the most surprising sackings. Casey Stoney let go from San Diego. And then Amy Rodriguez let go from Utah. And I know people will say, well, Utah's at the bottom of the table. How's that surprising? But to be honest, they haven't done that poorly. I would say if anybody at this moment were to get fired and it didn't surprise me, it would be Laura Harvey from the Reign.
Yeah, because she's a veteran coach that has seasons of, she has the knowledge and the experience, but Amy Rodriguez is brand new to the season. Her Utah Royals brand new to the
league.
And so because they have 11 losses, I think, Seattle also has 11 losses, and they're just kind of a mismatched team right now. It wasn't as if they drafted some outstanding,
They
some
went with a
known
very
there.
young group in their
Yeah,
draft. Very, very young.
it's not as if they had like came with where Seattle or San Diego came around Morgan and Abby and things like that, and then Angel City came around Kristen Press, and then these other people did it. So there's not we have this one star player that we're going to surround. It was nothing like that. So they obviously have good players on the team that are just kind of being overshadowed right now because the team isn't being, I guess, cohesive. But it's surprising that they did it so quick. Like, let her finish the season.
Give her time to build a team because
Yeah.
the one thing is, so they've lost 11 matches. Seattle's lost 9.
Oh.
But they have won 2 matches and they've drawn 2 matches, Utah, that is.
Mm-hmm.
And when I've watched them, you can see that they're getting, like, especially this last match that I watched, you could see that they were getting it, right? Whatever her idea was. But again, they're a very young team because that's how they drafted. I had started a video on this and I never got it out between them and BSC. Maybe I will, but they had their draft. How they brought in their trades was so strange. BFC went in for stars, international. Utah went in for young, and not even like the young stars from the in NCAA. They went for just people local, a lot of like local to that region, and so. And then they brought in a couple of veterans, so Paige Monahan, and then they eventually, after a few matches, got in Amadine Henry, right? But they didn't even have her at first. And so I guess you can't put all of that on Amy Rodriguez, right? She probably worked with what she had, which I think she was. And I think it was starting to gel. And I know they just lost that 6-0 match to Orlando, but outside of that, their matches were seriously like 1 goal or more. Like they weren't getting crushed every single match.
Yeah, didn't they just draw with Portland?
Yes, and I think a draw with Portland, who's now 5th in the table, was a really big deal, right? I think they did a really good job with that. They came back from a 6-0 loss against Orlando. And, like, let's not kid ourselves, Barbara Banda is killing everybody. So, like, I don't think that's a surprise. But then, they, like, dug in and they got the draw. So, to me, that short-sighted that they got rid of Roderick. Because if you watched that match because I watched the match against Portland, you could see where she had an idea what she wanted them to play, the style, and they were doing it. They were really getting the passes up through the pitch. I'm frustrated for her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one's disappointing. So, I know that we were going to talk about Stoney.
Yeah.
There's other issues within the BFC or San Diego Waves.
Oh.
Thing. There was a
organization.
Correct. Wave video and creative manager that was or left beginning of June. I literally saw this right before we came on. She let go and she put a thing on X or Twitter, whatever, about the emotional or the toxic behavior within the organization, and it kind of was led by Jill Ellis.
Oh, do you remember when the Yates report came out after that, and you and I said eventually Alice will get dragged down because we've heard bad things? Uh-huh. Totally speculation on our part. I have nothing to back that up. But
so obviously Sid LaRue says we believe you, and we do back you up. These things have.
Did you say Sid LaRue?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because that's actually where I heard it. Yes, her saying, "I don't want to talk about her" or something, and I still remember the comment or the way she said it.
So that, I don't know if that was all together, some of the issues within. I don't really feel like Stoney is I feel like she's kind of hard in her coaching style. So
tough. I mean, she was a player and like a really good player. So she probably doesn't want to hear whining. I can imagine that.
But, I mean, what the person had put on there was not anything related to the squad necessarily. It was just about,
but to like upper management and organization.
Yeah, and that they encouraged or didn't care about the toxic environment in the facility, and we're okay with it. So, but San Diego's not doing great either, though.
They aren't scoring, and so some of that is that your people up top aren't finishing, right? And so this happens at times with attackers. They just sometimes go through droughts, and they have to work through that, right? And I think that that's more on the players necessarily than just the manager. But I mean, Shaw isn't scoring, Morgan's not scoring. I can't think of some of the other people. Van Egmond has never been much. I mean, I know she's up there. Jakobsen. Who else do they have?
Ali, but I don't think that, or Ali, whatever the one.
Yeah, McCaskill isn't scoring. Anyway, they're not scoring. I think it's more on the players and the manager. Mm-hmm. People I know disagree on this, but they're all in droughts, and it happens to be at the same time. But to think how well they did, I don't know. To me, it seems, again, short-sighted. They just haven't given her the time. They aren't doing that poorly. Mm-hmm. They just lost the match, though, without her, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Some of it, I think, though, is that, they make these changes and, they feel like, this has to occur at this moment, but you're usually just causing an uproar. Maybe they want that uproar, I don't know, but Portland's, when they just changed their manager thing, they just switched the technical, whatever it was, I don't remember the exact titles or whatever.
I don't know what you're saying right now. What?
Portland, when they made their changes to the manager and director of technical, whatever it was.
Are the ownership people when they got new owners?
Okay. No, towards the beginning of the season, they switched their manager and their technical director, whatever his title was, and they had that, they already had that in place, and it wasn't just floundering without a set head coach in place. Mm-hmm. So, they did that seamlessly, and then, they came and won, I think, the next couple matches, but San Diego has just cut themselves off at the knees right now, not having kind of that structure in my head of what they need to bounce back.
Yeah, it's like they got rid of her, but then they don't have a backup plan. And do you think that at some point they asked Jill Ellis to fill in?
Ooh, probably, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if they'll do that. I don't think they should. I wonder if they'll do that. I think they should have kept Stoney because I think she really could have built like a long-term project there. So that's unfortunate. Surprising is really what it was. They've had 3 wins and they've had 6 draws, and their 3 wins have been against the two new teams and then the Reign, but they've had a lot of draws. So I don't think that's. I get it. They want to win, but I just don't think that's that bad. They drew against Orlando. They drew against Washington, Houston. So this is where they were a little unfortunate recently. And I guess they let her go after the Houston match when they drew, is that it was in Houston, and they so they played Orlando at home, okay? Then they played Washington away. So on the 7th, so June 7th, they played Orlando home. So then a week later on a Saturday, they play Washington away. So they had to fly across the country. Then that Wednesday, they played in New York. Then that Saturday, they played in Houston. Right? So that's 3 away matches. You're not doing much training in between. In Houston, it was like 100 degrees out. I remember that match. It was hot. And so I think a little unfair with their I think it would, at that specifically this point in their schedule, is a little unfair just because of the 3 away matches back to back to back.
Mm-hmm. Stoney had also made a comment publicly about that right before, the day before she was let go, about traveling across the country with 3 away matches and before coming home, and then she was let go. So I don't know. Obviously, I don't know if it's just based off of their current standings or there's other issues within the facility.
Yeah, they'll go off the past 5 to 8 matches, like they have like a running kind of where you're at. So I know right now they're 9th, 10th on the table, but sometimes they'll pick a whatever last 5 or 8 matches. Where are you at in the table? Because that's a little different, right? Because if you've lost your last 5 matches, let's say they go 5. If you've lost your last 5 matches, nobody has. You're technically at the bottom of that 5-match table, something like that, right? Whatever it is, I don't know what they use. Some clubs will use that, at least in the Premier League, they'll do that. So maybe they use something like that. I think just with what she's done so far, she's won them some titles. with a new team. I think it was unfair. I think really unfair for A-Rod too. So then I wonder, because Los Angeles isn't doing great, Angel City, is this Becky Tweed's exit and then they bring in Stoney?
Oh man.
Or does Utah think, oh, San Diego just got rid of Stoney. It's time for A-Rod to go. Maybe we can bring in Stoney because we're in the same region. Maybe she could make that work.
Oh man, that's hard. It would be exciting to see Stoney at Utah. I guess I don't see her. Maybe she would, but
Can they afford her?
Yeah, probably not. But I'm trying to think of. I can't think of the first coach's name that was with Angel City because they did that documentary on her and she said the F word a million times, and I don't feel like they very much.
You didn't resonate with that?
Oh, I loved it. I love the F word, but I don't think that maybe the organization encouraged it, and I feel like maybe Stoney would not say the F word, but whatever curse word that is her favorite, and I don't know necessarily that Angel City would mesh with that. Hopefully they give Tweed a little bit longer. I guess I don't really like seeing people get fired.
Me either, but sometimes people just aren't a fit.
You know, what's funny is I didn't really care about Kim, whatever his name was, from Louisville getting let go. I do like Bavrianas. Obviously, they're not doing excellent, but they're not horrible, and it's kind of exciting to see them with her at the helm.
The current coach for Louisville, I think I like this person. I can't off the top of my head. Sorry, I'm trying to read because I'm trying to figure out who this first coach was for Angel City. I think we can be smart and fact check. We have the internet at our fingertips. But I also like just throwing out things, right?
Yeah.
Unverified. I'm kidding.
Well,
I'm kidding.
It'd be exciting to see Stoney go to some other NWSL team, but I don't know.
I wonder if she'll go back to England.
I probably would. But I'm also a creature of habit, so.
Oh, Freya Coombe was the first manager.
Yeah. I think she was somebody's assistant coach or something before she went to Angel City. I think she's again somebody's assistant coach. I'm not positive on that though. But
currently she is a Kansas City's assistant coach.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I didn't want to say that one for certain. But
and before that, before she came to Angel City, she was at Gotham.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. But
okay, so I feel that Stoney could go back to England. Where would she go? I'm trying to think of a club big enough that needs a manager. Because Chelsea's already got their new person. Arsenal's not getting rid of that guy. Man City, I doubt they'll get rid of their coach. They did well last season.
Man U.
She played and coached there, but I feel like she won't go back there just because of the mess it is.
Yeah, I wouldn't go back to there at this moment. Let's see. Reading's
Mark
dissolving.
Skinner, confirm. Okay, Mark Skinner has signed a 1-year contract extension with an option for a further year, and that was in May. So they're not going to bring her in at Man United. Does she go to Barcelona? Has Barcelona gotten a new coach? No, they've got a new coach.
Maybe she just takes a couple of months off and then figures it out from there.
I want to see her in the NWSL, though.
Yeah, I do too.
I wonder how much longer Angel City holds on to Becky Tweed. And I wonder how much longer the Reign hold on to Laura Harvey. I actually really like Laura Harvey. When I wanted her to be the coach at one point for the U.S. women's team. At one point.
Yes. I very much like Laura Harvey. And I don't know what's going on with Seattle because besides a couple of changes, they still have the majority of their squad that they've had in the past couple of years. So I don't know what's happening with that, but I kind of don't want her to leave there because she feels like a mainstay, but maybe I could see her at Utah. I couldn't see her.
Well, she did coach there before, so.
I don't know that I could see her at San Diego, but I could see her at Utah, and I think that I would like that, but they'll probably get somebody before Seattle makes any changes.
So San Diego nor Utah have announced anything, right?
Not that I've seen, no.
Okay. All right, well, that's a shame. I don't know. I want to keep her in the NWSL, but I have a feeling Stoney goes. And A-Rod, I just don't think it's fair. I think she was building something. It's irritating. But this is like, Utah, I think, has folded twice, right? Utah has been in an original, whatever the NWSL was at the time, and then collapsed, and then came back in like 18 or 17. I don't remember the exact, and then collapsed in 2020. And so, like, they do this. I think, there's a certain level of like boldness that needs to happen, or trust, or right, to maintain a club at this level. Anyway, I think that's all I've got.
Concerning.
Yeah, for those, let us know where you guys would like to see those two and who you think will take over. I don't know.
Maybe they'll get somebody exciting, change everything.
I don't know, right? I don't think they have time. Or maybe they just play out the season. This is a problem with no relegation. You can just be poor and you stay up.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think that's all for this week. Next week, we'll talk about the WSL some more. We know there's a bunch of big transfers happening over there. Mm-hmm. We just already had a lot to talk about, so we'll be talking about some of those. I'm sure some people have thoughts on those. If you pay attention to the WSL, you should at least pay attention somewhat so that you can get an idea of what's going on in the world of soccer. Just my thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, so that's it from us. Bye.
Bye.